This is completely crazy. There are now hints from the US Department of the Treasury that Tether might fail, but that's not the end of the story. Now that Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has warned you all, we need to really talk about this. Yes, all of you. Pay close attention, because I'm about to go over everything in this video. That being said, welcome to the channel. Hi everyone, my name is Nick. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the end of this movie. Here's a quick look at this post from Subjective Views that talks about how the US Department of the Treasury has hinted that Tether might fail. In their most recent report on digital assets in the Treasury market, they talk about a crash not once but twice. Just quickly before I read this, I need to remember that there was big news a few days ago. Yes, the CEO did put a stop to this for a while. Of Tether, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it looks like the federal government was looking into whether the Bitcoin company Tether broke any rules about sanctions or money laundering. No one saw this coming. To be fair, almost everyone saw this coming because it was always a possibility. There was no proof of this, though. This didn't really have anything going on. We don't know if it was just Fardor or the Wall Street Journal trying to sell their bags or shorts. We have no idea what happened, but let's go over here anyhow. Let's quickly look at the facts. As a result of the rise in stablecoins, there's a small rise in desire for short-term treasuries. On the right are US Treasury bills that Tether and the billions own. Technically, we can see how this is a smart move by Tether. If they go after Tether, it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot, if you will, because they still have a huge amount of US Treasury bills. That's the most important thing I think we should think about when we really think about this. A lot of the attacks on Tether have been held back, but I think that will soon end. And I do believe that Tether should be looked at more closely when it comes to rules, because who knows what will happen in 2025. On the other hand, Tether's security backing is also shown here. This is from the second quarter of 2024. However, there was no clear check of this. It now says that the backing is here, that everything is solid, and that everything is fine. The fact that there was no real audit is still something we don't understand. Now we have the list of the top stable coins by market cap on the left. Tether is worth more than $120 billion. Next, we have a risk to financial security in the future when the tokenized market is a lot bigger. This is shown on the right. Runs on stablecoins have been common in the past few years, and if a big stablecoin like Tether fails, short-term treasuries could be sold off quickly. Very interesting. On the last slide, we also talk about the risk to financial stability that comes with runs on stablecoins. If a big stablecoin like Tether goes down, their US Treasury holdings could be sold off quickly. Okay, Ashan, all of a sudden if the US intentionally fell apart, Tether would buy up all of their bonds at a discount and the US would be rich. It could be a very interesting thing. As we can see from the past, stable coins will need to be controlled like narrow banks or money market funds to stop stress from spreading. There's a lot of stress in the Treasury market and on steady coin markets. I thought it was very interesting that they talked about central banks for a while. There was more of a tie back. This includes everything from companies to central banks, which brings me back to Ripple. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But here is that post we have. In addition, these ledgers will need to be made. This is mostly just the advice of central banks and the trust they offer. Tokenization can only fully work if there is a standard unit of account for money that is used to define deals, goes with the payment method, and is accepted without question by everyone in the market. This is interesting because once more we could tie this right. There are still a lot of central banks that work with Ripple, so let's talk about it again. We can also talk about XRP and the XRP database. They're talking to more than 20 of them, but let's focus on Tether because a lot of people were saying in April that Tether would be fine. Oh, Tether can be hidden by Mika. What do you think? Mika still doesn't cover Tether, and it's still taken off of a lot of platforms in the EU, including Coinbase, but it wasn't us who made the dollar the world's currency. It was against the rules for us to use it. Now, 95% of all of Russia's trade with other countries is, in terms of country currencies. They worked hard at it on their own. They thought we were going to fall apart. Look at this. How do you think we should be more active? I think making a big deal out of nothing is wrong. Everybody is taking their own steps one after the other. In terms of money, we didn't drop dollars in the dollar, which is the world's currency. It wasn't us. We were not allowed to go there. And now, 95% of all of Russia's trade with other countries is done in its own currency. They worked hard at it on their own. They thought we were going to fall apart. We haven't, though. This may make you wonder why this is the case. What's important? The reason for this is that Russia is continuing to speed up the de-dollarization process, and the dollar is falling apart. What's the US going to do? But even here, we have safe coins that will protect the US. As a result of de-dollarization, the dollar is now a world reserve currency. In fact, they've been writing about this since 2023. Also, a lot of people are still aiming at the wrong thing. The BRICS speed up what we're seeing in crypto and finance, also known as the switch to a digital-based banking system. The fact that 99% of stable coins are worth USD makes how much the dollar matters in the digital economy. Also, the USD controls most of the world's foreign exchange funds, loans and debt, and the SWIFT network, which strengthens its position as a key part of the world's financial system. As regulations become clearer and more people use secure coins, they will help keep the dollar useful in a world market that changes quickly, which will counteract the effects of de-dollarization. As soon as the BRIC countries show off their new payment system, the US will do the same with stable coins. That does mean that as we do start to. Russia continues to move forward and rules are getting stricter. This is also something I want to talk about because with the new rules, the big question is what will happen to Tether. And Brad Garlinghouse has a message for everyone here as well. This happened this year at Swell 2024, CEO of Ripple Black Swan Awards. Bradley Garlinghouse thought that a Black Swan event might make the US the blockchain capital of the world during Ripple Swell 2024. He drew comparisons to the 1996 Telecom Act, which made the US the internet leader. Do you think that America will become the world's blockchain capital? Remember what I just said about Tether before I play this video? They do hold a lot of those bank bills that much. There is talk of a run on this though, right? AKA a fire would start from the Tether. Sale of us government bonds. Because traditional banks hold so many US government bonds. This would be a huge black swan event that would spread to other banks.